not as the scribes. He taught as one having authority. He embodied the scriptures. He was the scriptures. Bear in mind, the scriptures that he had were not Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They hadn't even been called yet at that point. Or yeah, they had. But they hadn't been led by the Spirit to pen what would be his life. He spoke the law. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. He spoke the prophets. He spoke those. He spoke them with authority. Not as the scribes. He spoke them because he knew that they were true. He knew what the power was. He knew. He wasn't as the scribes. He didn't do it as the scribes. The scribes used the scriptures to control people. The scribes wanted to use the scriptures to pump themselves up. Pharisees, the scribes, the Sadducees, they wanted to make themselves look so good. But Jesus spoke in a way that they couldn't help but recognize the authority with which he spoke. He knew who he was. It's like all the songs line up with this message today. Jesus knew. He had evidence. He had confidence. He was a conqueror. He knows that he wins. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, my name is victory. He could have very well sang that song. In fact, his life exuded that song. He lived that song as he went about. Many of the miracles, a lot of the miracles and stuff that took place, some took place in the synagogues as he preached, after he preached in the synagogue. But a lot of the things that we read about Jesus, a lot of the encounters that he had, a lot of the deliverances, and a lot of the, just the living in the embodiment of the word took place on the way. Between preaching in the synagogues, from one city to the next. He did a lot of teaching just out in the open. There's one account where he had to put himself in a boat because the crowds thronged him so. They pressed so to be near him, to get close to hear him, that he had to put himself out in a boat for fear that he might be crushed. But that was on the way. A lot of things happened to Jesus on the way. He had an agenda, but the agenda didn't rule him. He wasn't so caught up in having to get to the synagogue to preach the word that he couldn't pay attention to who he encountered on the way to the synagogue. He didn't not engage anyone because he had to be on time to the synagogue, because it was of utmost importance. Yes, it was that he go to the synagogue and that he preached the word. But those that he encountered along the way, he had connection with them. He didn't get so caught up in his schedule and his agenda that he overlooked anyone on the way. If there be a message, title to today's message, it would be On the Way.
On the way.
Now, the fact that Jesus had a schedule and an agenda doesn't say that his life was full of busyness. Not business, but busyness. He wasn't just running from place to place trying to get things done, this, that, and the other, so that he wouldn't be sitting around idle and didn't feel like he wasn't doing